Hi, I'm Ben Logan, and today I'm going to be walking you through some basic beekeeping equipment and techniques. First part of the video we'll talk about the equipment. Second part of the video we'll walk out to the beehive and I'll show you some of the basic techniques. So if you're just getting into beekeeping and you want to buy some equipment, these are some of the things that you are going to want to have to get started. First, you're going to want a beehive. And there's several beehives on the market. I'd recommend buying a Langstroth hive because it's been around since 1850s. It's the most common one out there. It's pretty simple to use. So what a Langstroth hive consists of is a box, some frames, a bottom board, and a top cover or a lid of some sort. So inside of the Langstroth hive, you're going to see these frames, and these frames have a foundation on it, and the foundation is actually what the bees are going to build their comb on or draw their comb on. And what made Langstroth's hive revolutionary in the 1850s was the fact that he had discovered bee space, and without bee space, beekeepers had to destroy the bees to get the honey out, and they used to keep them in skip hives or a different variety of types of hives. And what bee space is 3/8 of an inch between the frames where the bees actually move about the comb. So when he put the foundations in here, he discovered that he was able to then remove the frames without destroying the bees, and that's why we still use this design today. So that's the Langstroth hive. You're going to want one of these underneath the top part of the hive, which is the smaller part, and they make this part smaller because this is where your honey is going to be. It's called the honey super. Between the honey super and the larger lower box, you don't have to have a larger box, but traditionally it would be a medium or a deep, you would want to have a queen excluder, because the queen excluder is a little grate that is made just large enough for the worker bees to get through, but it's too small for the actual queen to come through and lay eggs in the honey. So that's what defines the honey super from the actual brood chamber, because the brood is where she's laying the brood, she's laying the eggs, raising the bees, and the upper part is where the worker bees are putting the honey, hopefully. So honey, wax, whatever you're going in there for. Here's a smoker. You're going to probably want to get one of these. You're going to want some pellets for the smoker. And what this does is it kind of makes the bees more timid, I guess. They say it works because when the bees are exposed to a fire or wildfire and they're living in a tree in the wild, they go deep inside the tree and try to survive the fire. So when the beekeeper comes out, it kind of simulates that effect, and then the bees will retract into the hive and not be as aggressive. So you'll have less chance getting stung. You still might, but you'll have less chance. If you want to avoid being stung, you're going to need some protective gear. So these are gloves. They're really nice to have. They sell these on a lot of different bee web pages. I prefer this type of hat with the face shield just because I can throw it on with whatever I'm wearing. But a lot of people like to buy protective gear that's just the full suit. The suit's a little pricey, so if I ever want to go that direction, I usually just go to Home Depot and buy a tie-back suit. And it does the same thing. It's disposable, because the more expensive suits still get covered in all kinds of stuff, all kinds of bee stuff when you're moving the actual hive around the yard. Let's go on to a beehive that I designed. So beyond the Langstroth hive, I spent multiple years designing different beehives. This is one of my prototypes that I had in the field, and it's an insulated construction, which you can see the panel here is actually plastic on the outside, so the beekeeper does not have to paint it. It's wood on the inside because I had some complaints that my hive looked too plastic, and it's insulated with 1 inch of closed cell foam, which gives it an R rating of about 6, and a traditional beehive would have an R rating of less than 1. So it's a big difference. It helps bees survive in cold climates. It also helps out with migratory beekeepers, so the bees aren't getting thermal shock during transportation. And I'm still experimenting with this. I don't have it in production yet, but I'm hoping to have a production model by this winter, or at least by next spring. So I won an award for it. Still doing research, but it's been turning out really nice. This one looks a little beat up because it's been out in the bee yard for a couple years now. But I want to talk to you about when you have everything ready and you're ready to get your bees. This is what the bees can come in. You can just order them right through the mail. It's called a packet of bees, and they'll come right through the post office. You got to go pick it up. Well, I usually buy mine off Craigslist, but yeah, the bees will come in here and you just can dump them into the beehive, and there you go, you got your bees. The bees that we're going to go visit today are actually bees that I caught A swarm just happened to land in an empty hive that I had in the yard, so we're gonna go out there, check it out, see if we can find the queen, and I'm gonna show you some drone bees, hopefully, worker bees, and hopefully the queen. All right, when you use the hive tool, the bees use a propolis to hold the actual hive together. And you're just gonna pop it open like this. And you can see on the inside, you wanna take a look at the top half and see if there's any hive beetles. I mean, I don't see anything in here. These bees actually, they look pretty new. There's a lot of fuzzy little bees. So when you have fuzzy bees like this, they're usually younger. It looks like a lot of young bees in this hive. And I don't see any varroa mites, which are going to be a little red mite that sits usually anywhere on them, but it'll be on their back a lot of the time. So you're just going to pop one of these frames out. And traditionally, the smaller box on top, this would be a honey super, but like I said, this was a hive that I had lost, so I just cleaned it out, left it out here, and the bees has occupied all of it, and what it's created is just a giant brood. So I'm gonna put the queen excluder on top of here, and we're gonna get some honey out of it. I'm gonna pull the frame out. Kind of stuck in here. Alright, so let's take a look at these guys. Wow, look at that. So you can see the brood pattern looks good. It's in the center of the frame. You have a little bit of honey on either side. See if we can find the queen. These are all worker bees. I don't see the queen right off the bat, but I see where she's been working. Pull another frame out here. I'll put this frame down. Use the hive tool to kind of pry the frames apart. They get really sticky inside here. It doesn't have that nice pattern on it like the other one did. Alright, so well, I can tell you right now that there's a queen in here, obviously. We got a bunch of new bees. She's laid eggs all over the old honey supers. So like I said, we're just going to go ahead and put a queen excluder on here and have a nice big brood box. Hopefully lots of honey, so I'll do another updated video when we get the honey out of the top super. Now that I've done a quick hive inspection, I'm going to go ahead and put this queen excluder on top of this old honey super that's now going to be part of the brood. And I'm going to just go ahead and put a new super on here. Try to do it as gentle as possible without crushing too many bees. Make sure the frames are spaced out nicely. And the bees are going to go ahead and take from off of the old the foundation we just put in here and draw new comb. And since we have the queen excluder in there, it'll be egg free and we'll be able to take the honey. And I'm going to just cut bars right out of this. So this will be really nice. So we'll update it hopefully sooner than later. And that was just a pretty basic hive inspection. I try to keep it as, you know, not really invasive because I don't want the bees to die. You don't want to disrupt them. They look like a healthy colony. Has a queen, she's laying eggs, has a nice pattern. We're gonna let them go and make some honey. Thank you for watching, guys. Make sure you like and subscribe my page and I'll keep you updated with all my other adventures and projects.